The role of soft characteristics in the dissolution of peppermints. 2021 Science Fair Project by Lucy Gabrica,
Layla Vendoli,
and Leaf Lucky.
Kilbourne Middle School, KMS, Advanced Science, 7th grade.
what interests you about this topic, and where did you get the idea for the project?
It did seem that hard to do for a science fair project. We also wanted to find out more about how peppermint dissolve in different liquids.
What questions are you trying to answer, and how did you go about answering them?
Specifically, we want to know if Sprite dissolves peppermints faster than water, and whether liquor drinks of Sprite act differently in dissolving.
What did you learn about the science behind your project before and during the experiment?
We learned about different liquids such as Sprite and water, and we found out how acidic they are, and how effectively they are at dissolving peppermints.
We began this project thinking about how candy dissolves in the mouth. Saliva is 99% water, but the rest contains enzymes that help with junk foods, enzymes that change amino acids. Because certain drinks have different kinds of acids in them, like Sprite, we thought that these drinks might be better at dissolving candy, like peppermint, better than water. This might matter companies who are marketing candies and soft drinks in combination, for example, at movie theaters. Supporting or not supporting this could also be a value to discussion of public health, since it could mean that people are more or less likely to eat more candy when drinking soft drinks.
Hypothesis 1. Peppermints will dissolve in Sprite faster than water since acids dissolve materials. As a first step, we verified that Sprite was more acidic by adding red cabbage powder into it and doing the same thing for water. Sprite showed the pH of 3, which is pretty acidic, whilst water was 7, which was okay, and was basically neutral. We placed peppermints in cups that had the same volume of Sprite and water. We used 5 cups for water and 5 cups for Sprite filters.
Why was our hypothesis not supported? Well, Sprite is not just acidic, it also has a lot of sugar, and water doesn't. If you bought a bottle of Sprite and looked at the ingredients, you can see. When the liquids have a pretty big number of sugar in them, it can be harder to get sugar or other materials in the solution. Sprite is also carbonated. It's a bit hard to say how much Sprite is carbonated, but there's one thing we all know about soda, and bubbles. The bubbles from the carbonation Sprite bubbles can very much bump up against the peppermint and speed up the breaking of the peppermint, but the carbonation in the water may get in the way of the sugar going into the solution.
Lastly, as we have determined, Sprite is more acidic with a pH of 3 than water. It has more H+ particles floating around in the solution. But acids don't react to everything. Then it could mean that the acids don't react to much of what's in peppermints. It might also be that the acidic nature of Sprite works in the opposite direction hypothesized, but the role of sugar and carbonation works in the opposite direction. At this stage, we cannot separate out these effects. We need to test these characteristics in isolation.
Study number 2. Water versus components of Sprite. With the rationale based on our first study's findings, we had an additional hypothesis to test. Hypothesis 2. Acidic water will dissolve peppermint faster than water alone. Hypothesis 3. Sparkling water will dissolve peppermint faster than water alone. Hypothesis 4. Sugary water will dissolve peppermint slower than water alone.
We learned that vinegar and water dissolve the fastest, and sugar takes the longest to dissolve.
What did you learn from the data?
In the data, we learned that water dissolves peppermints faster than Sprite.
If you had to do it again, what would you change? What improvements would you make?
We would probably use different kinds of candies, for example Jolly Ranchers, or we could have added sugar to the water.
What's next? Continue the project? Go on to a different topic?
I think we should go on to similar but different topics since we've already found out what peppermints can do when dissolved in different liquids. And maybe that can help us explore what can happen when we use certain candies.
Based on what you have learned, how can this knowledge benefit society?
This knowledge benefits society by showing knowledge towards acidic liquids. It benefits this benefits peppermint businesses to satisfy their customers and them learning how to make peppermints last longer.